of internet. And if you're wondering how we're gonna do that, I have this very functional tool in front of me, uh, and basically I'm just gonna spin this wheel, and whichever platform it's gonna pick, we're gonna go there and go from there, I guess. If you haven't, go check out some of my past videos. You'll get the format and you'll see what we are doing here. At the very least, I find this very interesting and entertaining. So I'm I'm gonna continue to do this. So check this out. I'm sure you're gonna love it if you love internet. All right, without any overdue, I'm gonna just click IMDb. All right. I might have to remove IMDb from this list and maybe like replace it with something else because yeah, IMDb is all right. What I do on IMDb is just land on some random show or movie or whatever, and then check out the reviews. I in the past I had like a good time where there are people who love posting sarcastic reviews. Uh, what is this? Knock at the cabin. Well, it's not out yet, so
You ready for an event?
let's see. What do we? Top Gun. Top Gun. Cool. All right. Top Gun Maverick. I mean, I watched the movie. It was. I mean, nothing out of nothing out of ordinary. I mean, everything was kind of sort of expected. Like, uh, and to a degree, I feel it lived up to its uh, past standard, I guess. All right, so let's check out some of the reviews. Swiss Cheese says, "Are these reviews being bought by the military industrial complex? Went with an open mind. Didn't expect anything from the movie. Hadn't even seen a trailer until the reviews were claiming it was a masterpiece. So I decided to check it out. Predictable plot, no stakes, cheesiest dialogue you ever heard, piss poor character development, boring plot, etc. This movie is such a waste of time. Was rolling my eyes at Tom Cruise's cheesiness. And Jennifer Connelly's character was so embarrassingly cringe. Also, why was the edgy Air Force guy smiling throughout every single line of his? Again, the best way I describe this movie is cheesy. What a ridiculous movie. Nick the Freak says, "Garbage for the masses." Handsome American guy with a fast motorcycle wearing a nice leather old school jacket makes love with the nice girl and teach new pilots how to kill the bad people around the world. Good American heroes praise each other and make fun. Okay. Razi Awardable? What a pile of crap. With this cast, this much money to produce a movie, and then this as an end result? I know a lot of people like this movie, but I seriously don't understand what they like about it. The whole plot is lame, lines are cheap, and the acting is terrible. It doesn't come close to anything in the real world. Sorry. I like it when it has any credibility. Details are wrong, and well, I can go on and on. It is a waste of time and money to see this movie. Daniel Serreto says, "Top cheese." I can't believe this movie is scored as 8.6. Seriously, I don't get it. I was expecting an action masterpiece at least, but instead I found a forgettable movie including a lot of weak points. First, the movie is super cheesy, predictable, and the story is super simple, no surprises or twists from beginning till the end. Second, characters are extremely stereotyped and not well developed. Looks like more a buddies movie than anything else. Last, the nostalgia from the 80s doesn't really fit with Generation Z. Everything looks really forced most of the time. So, overall, if you love predictable top cheesy blockbusters, this one is for you. Go and watch it and score your 10. If not, try to watch some real 8.6 movies like Seven, The Silence of the Lambs, City of God, and Saving Private Ryan. Enjoy. Alright, let's see what other movies Daniel rated or reviewed. The Good Nurse. The movie is based on a real story. What it makes the movie more intriguing and interesting since the beginning till the end. First, acting here is solid. Not Oscars winning, but enough interesting to keep on your seat, asking for the reasons why a person can do so many wrong things. Second, I think the script is quite good, even not perfect. I think it could have been more precise on the facts. Looks like they wanted to do it in a soft way. Wow, he or she, I don't know, it's a Daniel, so definitely he um, rated that movie just today. I look like he's a movie runner, movie lover. I said movie runner. Clearly reviewed so many movies. So stupid that it insults a viewer's intelligence. Swim win. I had heard that Top Gun Maverick was good, then I watched it. It's terrible, filled with technical errors and cardboard characters. However, if you think that comic book movies are worthwhile or are 12 years old, you may like Top Gun Maverick. This is my top 5, says Art Miller. This is my top 5 worst films I have ever seen. Where do I begin? This is teenage airhead nonsense, made for video game enthusiasts who spend hours online playing shoot 'em up games. Endless explosions and huge noises battering you from every side at volume 11. Flashing lights and bursts of flame. Great if you're addicted to all that. The testosterone charged macho gung ho male postering in this film is archaic. Surely we have moved on from watching steroid pumped men puffing out their chest and shouting at each other to show who's got the biggest dick. And it is obvious from the pantomime start that all these rock hard jokes who hate each other will end up in such a male bonding by the end of the film, hugging each other accompanied by insipid violin music. Oh, God, it was nauseating. I'm not going to rant about the ham acting throughout, as that goes with the territory of American films like this. Tough guy college boys who have just discovered alcohol and girls for the first time. Overexcited and loud mouthed, trying to establish their place in the chimpanzee pack. This film is so slow. We have to have a simpering love interest, of course, with lots of meaningful silent staring at each other. Feel the nerve, people, and more cheap, off the shelf orchestral whining to go with it. The whole 130 excruciating minutes stank of cheese. The plot? Almost forgotten until the end when we have all the noise and flames and empty CGI sprinkles that fail to add anything convincing to this tasteless mush. Ed Harris is wasted. Val Kilmer's role is hilarious. Tom Cruise plays Tom Cruise. The script is dire, written by a sixth form student who has never seen a genuinely good films in their short lives. Americans in general have no idea what a good film is. You only have to look at the movies they churn out. But I'm surprised that British audience still fall for the hype that launches US films. This is a bad film on every level. Script, acting, pace, etc. I defy anyone over, say, 25 to convince me otherwise. This is a kid's film. Flashbang wallop by dad's bigger than your dad. I can drink you under the table anytime, buddy, and I can pull the girls. Empty, vacacious, dull, and superficial in the extreme. Wow. Pretty strong words, Art Miller. Let's check out some of your other reviews. West Side Story. It's a good film if you're under 50, but 20-year-old kids simply won't get it. Not enough swearing and blood and guts for them. And from other reviews from the ignorant youth age group, it is clear they have no idea this is Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, a pointless remake of one of the cinema's greatest films of all time. The cast lack charisma, the energy of the original is missing. I I'm gonna check out all the reviews this person did. It look like they have their another movie Lover, and look like some good movies are listed in here. And I'm always looking out for some good movies. So if you know any, uh, leave it in the comment. Let's see what other movie do I want to review, or not review, just check out their reviews. What is this? Oh, Kaleidoscope. I'm watching this show. I'm like 2 3 episodes in. So far it's going somewhere, so I'm gonna not review it until I've watched the entire season. uh okay, this movie is supposed to be terrifying. Oh, that's so weird. 666 reviews so far. Uh, User reviews. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of 1 stars. All right. Wait, what? Just one star? No 2 stars. Ridiculous plot, but still 3 stars. Okay, so that's something. No 4 stars. Only couple 5 stars. Okay, views 6 stars. Then couple 7 stars. Well, 4 or 5 8 stars. So that's something. No 9 stars. 3 10 stars. Yeah, kind of curious, like how people gauge the star system, right? Uh, I don't know if that's gonna give us something. Designing better online review systems. All right, I'm gonna check that out. Reviewing your systems. Oh, that seems like some consulting firm pitching their services. Obviously. Maybe star review method. I don't know. Not looking for an interview method. Anyway, let's see. Designing better online review systems. How to create ratings that buyers and sellers can trust by Geoff Donaker. Hyunjin Kim, and Michael Luca. From the magazine, November and December edition 2019. Summary. Online reviews are transforming the way consumers choose products and services of all sorts. We turn to TripAdvisor to plan a vacation, ZocDoc to find a doctor, and Yelp to choose a new restaurant. Reviews can create value for buyers and sellers alike, but only if they attain a critical level of quantity and quality. The authors describe principles for setting the incentives, design choices, and rules that help review platform thrive. To address a shortage of reviews, companies can seed them by hiring reviewers or drawing reviews from other platforms. Other incentives are pool products. To address selection bias, they can require reviews, allow private comments, and design prompts carefully. To combat fraudulent and strategic reviews, they can set rules for reviewers and call in moderators, whether employees, the community, or algorithms. Online reviews are transforming the way consumers choose products and services. We turn to TripAdvisor to plan a vacation, ZocDoc to find a doctor, and Yelp to find new restaurants. Review systems play a central role in online marketplaces such as Amazon and Airbnb as well. More broadly, a growing number of organizations, ranging from Stanford Healthcare to 9 of the 10 biggest US retailers, now maintain review ecosystems to help customers learn about their offerings. Managed well, a review system creates value for buyers and sellers alike. Trustworthy systems can give consumers the confidence they need to buy a relatively unknown product, whether a new book or dinner at a local restaurant. For example, research by One of Us found that higher Yelp ratings led to higher sales. This effect is greater for independent businesses whose reputations are less well established. Reviews also create a feedback loop that provides suppliers with valuable information. For example, ratings allow Uber to remove poorly performing drivers from its service, and they can give producers of consumer goods guidance for improving their offerings. But for every thriving review system, many others are barren, attracting neither reviewers nor other users. And some amass many reviews but fail to build consumers' trust in their informativeness. If reviews on a platform are all positive, for example, people may assume that the items being rated are all of high quality, or they may conclude that the system can't help them differentiate the good from the bad. Reviews can be misleading if they provide an incomplete snapshot of experiences. Fraudulent or self serving reviews can hamper platforms' efforts to build trust. Research by Mike and Georgios Zarvas has found that businesses are especially likely to engage in review fraud when their reputation is struggling or competition is particularly intense. Behind many review system failures lies a common assumption that building these systems represents a technological challenge rather than a managerial one. Business leaders often invest heavily in the technology behind the system but fail to actively manage the content, leading to common problems. The implications of poor design choices can be severe. It's hard to imagine that travelers would trust Airbnb without a way for hosts to establish a reputation, which leans heavily on reviews, or that shoppers could navigate Amazon as seamlessly without reviews. As academics, Hyunjin and Mike have researched the design choices that led some online platforms to succeed while others fail, and have worked with Yelp and other companies to help them on this front. Yunjin is also an economics research intern at Yelp. Okay. And as the CEO of Yelp for more than a decade, Geoff helped its review ecosystem become one of the world's dominant sources of information about local services. All positive reviews on a platform don't help differentiate the good from the bad. In recent years, a growing body of research has explored the design choices that can lead to more robust review and reputation systems. Drawing on our research, teaching, and work with companies, this article explores framework for managing a review ecosystem, shedding light on the issues that can arise and the incentives and design choices that can help to avoid common pitfalls. We'll look at each of these issues in more detail and describe how to address them. Not enough reviews? When Yelp began, it was by definition a new platform, a ghost town, with few reviewers or readers. Many review systems experience a shortage of reviews, especially when they are starting out. While most people read reviews to inform a purchase, only a small fraction write reviews on any platform they use. This situation is exacer- exacerbated. Exacerbated. I know this word. Exacerbated. Okay, I'm high, so forgive me. This situation is exacerbated by the fact that review platforms have strong network effects. It is particularly difficult to attract review writers in a world with few readers, and difficult to attract readers in a world with few reviewers. We suggest three approaches that can help generate an adequate number of reviews: seeding the system, offering incentives, and pooling related products to display their reviews together. The right mix of approaches depends on factors such as where the system is on its growth trajectory, how many individual products will be included, and what the goals are for the system itself. Seeding reviews. Early stage platforms can consider hiring reviewers or drawing in reviews from other platforms through a partnership and with proper attribution. To create enough value for users in a new city to start visiting Yelp and contributing their own reviews, the company recruited paid teams of part time scouts who would add personal photos and reviews for a few months until the platform caught on. For other businesses, partnering with platforms that specialize in reviews can also be valuable, both for those that want to create their own review ecosystem and for those that want to show reviews but not intend to create their own platform. Companies such as Amazon and Microsoft pull in reviews from Yelp and other platforms to populate their sites. For platforms looking to grow their own review ecosystem, seeding reviews can be particularly useful in the early stages because it doesn't require an established brand to incentivize activity. However, a large number of products or services can make it costly, and the reviews that you get may differ from organically generated content. So, some platforms, depending on their goals, may benefit from swiftly moving beyond seeding. Offering incentives. Motivating your platform's users to contribute reviews and ratings can be a scalable option and can also create a sense of community. The incentive you use might be financial. In 2014, Airbnb offered a $25 coupon in exchange for reviews and saw a 6.4% increase in review rates. However, non financial incentives such as in kind gifts or status symbols may also motivate reviewers, especially if your brand is well established. In Google's local guides program, users earn points anytime they contribute something to the platform: writing a review, adding a photo, correcting content, or answering a question. They can convert those points into rewards ranging from early access to new Google products to a free 1 TB upgrade to Google Drive storage. Yelp's elite squad of prolific, high quality reviewers receive a special designation on the platform along with invitations to private parties and events, among other perks. Financial incentives can become a challenge if you have a large product array. But a bigger concern may be that if they aren't designed well, both financial and non financial incentives can backfire by inducing users to populate the system with fast but sloppy reviews that don't help others' customers. Pooling products. By reconsidering the unit of review, you can make a single comment apply to multiple products. On Yelp, for example, hairstylists who share salon space for reviewed together under a single salon listing. This aggregation greatly increases the number of reviewers Yelp can amass for a given business because a review of any single stylist appears on the business's page. Furthermore, since many salons experience regular churn among their stylists, the salon's reputation is at least as important to the potential customer as that of the stylist. Similarly, review platforms may be able to generate more useful reviews by asking users to review sellers, as on eBay, rather than separating out every product sold. Deciding from the outset whether and how to pool products in a review system can be helpful because it establishes what the platform is all about. Is this a place to learn about stylists or about saloons? Pooling becomes particularly attractive as your product space broadens because you have more items to pool in useful ways. A risk to this approach, however, is that pooling products to achieve more reviews may fail to give your customers the information they need about any particular offering. Consider, for example, whether the experience of visiting each stylist in the salon is quite different and whether a review of one stylist would be relevant to potential customers of another. Amazon's pooling of reviews in its bookstore takes into account the format of the book a reader wants to buy. Reviews of the text editions of the same title, like hardback, paperback, and Kindle, appear together, but the audiobook is reviewed separately under the Audible brand. For customers who want to learn about the content of the books, pooling reviews for all audio and physical books would be beneficial. But because audio production quality and information about the narrator are significant factors for audiobook buyers, there may be a benefit to keeping those reviews separate. All these strategies can help overcome a review shortage, allowing content development to become more self sustaining as more readers benefit from and engage with the platform. However, platforms have to consider not only the volume of reviews but also their informativeness, which can be affected by selection bias and gaming of the system. Selection bias. Have you ever written an online review? If so, what made you decide to comment on that particular occasion? Research has shown that users' decisions to leave a review often depend on the quality of their experience. On some sites, customers may be likelier to leave reviews if their experience was good. On others, only if it was very good or very bad. In either case, the resulting ratings can suffer from selection bias. They might not accurately represent the full range of customers' experience of the product. It only satis- if only satisfied people leave reviews. For example, ratings will be artificially inflated. Selection bias can become even more pronounced when business nudge only happy customers to leave a review. eBay encountered the challenge of selection bias in 2011 when it noticed that its sellers' scores were suspiciously high. Most sellers on the site had over 99% positive ratings. The company worked with the economist Chris Nosko and Stephen Tardilis and found that users were much likelier to leave a review after a good experience. Of some 44 million transactions that had been completed on the site, only 0.39% had negative reviews or ratings, but more than twice as many, 1%, had an actual dispute ticket, and more than 7 times as many, 3%, had prompted buyers to exchange messages with sellers that implied a bad experience. Whether or not buyers decided to review a seller was, in fact, a better predictor of future complaints, and thus a better proxy for quality than that seller's ratings. Some sites get reviews only if an experience was very good or very bad. eBay hypnotized that it could improve buyers' experience and thus sales by correcting for ratings, selection bias, and more clearly differentiating higher quality sellers. It reformulated seller scores as a percentage of all of a seller's transactions that generated positive ratings instead of the percentage of positive ratings. This new measure yielded a median of 67% with substantial spread in the distribution of scores, and potential customers who were exposed to the new scores were more likely than a control group to return and make another purchase on the site. By plotting the scores on your platform in a similar way, you can investigate whether your ratings are skewed, how severe the problem may be, and whether additional data might help you fix it. Any review system can be crafted to mitigate the bias it is most likely to face. The entire review process, from the initial ask to the messages users get as they type their reviews, provides opportunities to nudge users to behave in less biased ways. Experimenting with design choices can help show how to reduce the bias in reviewers' self selection as well as any tendency users have to rate in a particular way. Require reviews. A more heavy handed approach requires users to review a purchase before making another one. But tread carefully. This may drive some customers off the platform and can lead to a flood of non informative ratings that customers use as a default, creating noise and a different kind of error in your reviews. For this reason, platforms often look for other ways to minimize selection bias. Allow private comments. The economists John Horton and Joseph Golden found that on the freelancer review site Upwork, employers were reluctant to leave public reviews after a negative experience with a freelancer, but were open to leaving feedback that only Upwork could see. Employers who reported bad experiences privately still gave the highest possible public feedback nearly 20% of the time. This provided Upwork with important information about when users were or weren't willing to leave a review and other problematic freelancers that it could use either to change the algorithm that suggested freelancer matches or to provide aggregate feedback about freelancers. Aggregate feedback shifted hiring decisions, indicating that it was relevant in additional information. Design prompts carefully. More generally, the reviews people leave depend on how and when they are asked to leave them. Platforms can minimize bias in reviews by thoughtfully designing different aspects of the environment in which users decide whether to review. This approach often referred to and this approach often referred to as choice architecture, a term coined by Cass Sustin and Richard Thaler, the authors of Nudge, Improving Decisions About Health, Wealth, and Happiness. It applies to everything from how prompts are worded to how many options a user is given. In one experiment we ran on Yelp, we varied the messages prompting users to leave a review. Some users saw the generic message, "Next review awaits," while others were asked to help local businesses get discovered or other consumers to find local businesses. We found that the latter group tended to write longer reviews. Fraudulent and strategic reviews. Sellers sometimes try, unethically, to boost their ratings by leaving positive reviews for themselves or negative ones for their competitors, while pretending that the reviews were left by real customers. This is known as astroturfing. The more influential the platform, the more people will try to astroturf. Because of the harm to consumers that astroturfing can do, policymakers and regulators have gotten involved. In 2013, Eric Schneiderman, then the New York State Attorney General, engaged in an operation to address it. Citing our research as part of the motivation, Schneiderman's office announced an agreement with 19 companies that had helped write fake reviews on online platforms, requiring them to stop the practice and to pay a hefty fine for charges including false advertising and deceptive business practices. But as with shoplifting, businesses cannot simply rely on law enforcement. To avoid the pitfalls of fake reviews, they must set up their own protections as well. As discussed in a paper that Mike wrote with Georgios Zervas, some companies, including Yelp, run sting operations to identify and address companies trying to leave fake reviews. A related challenge arises when buyers and sellers rate each other and craft their reviews to elicit higher ratings from the other party. Consider the last time you stayed in an Airbnb. Afterward, you were prompted to leave a review of the host, who was also asked to leave a review of you. Until 2014, if you left your review before the host did, he or she could read it before deciding what to write about you. The result? You might think twice before leaving a negative review. Platform design choices and content moderation play an important role in reducing the number of fraudulent and strategic reviews. Set rules for reviewers. Design choices begin with deciding who can review and whose reviews to highlight. For example, Amazon displays an icon when a reviewer is from a verified purchaser of the product, which can help consumers screen for potentially fraudulent reviewers. Expedia goes further and allows only guests who have booked through its platform to leave a review there. Research by Dina Maislin, Yaniv Dover, and Judith Chevalier shows that such a policy can reduce the number of fraudulent reviews. At the same time, stricter rules about who may leave a review can be a blunt instrument that significantly diminishes the number of genuine reviews and reviewers. The platform must decide whether the benefit of reducing potential fakes exceeds the cost of having fewer legitimate reviews. No matter how good your system's design, you need content moderators. Platforms also decide when reviewers can be submitted and displayed. After realizing that non reviewers had systematically worse experiences than reviewers, Airbnb implemented a simultaneous reveal rule to deter reciprocal reviews between guest and host and allow for more complete feedback. The platform no longer displays ratings until both the guest and the host have provided them and set a deadline after which the ability to review expires. After the company made this change, research by Andrew Fratkin, Alina Grival, and David Holes found that the average ratings for both guest and host declined, while review rates increased, suggesting that reviewers were less afraid to leave feedback after a bad experience when they were shielded from retribution. Call in the moderators. No matter how good your system's design choices are, you're bound to run into problems. Spam can slip in, bad actors can try to game the system, reviews that were extremely relevant 2 years ago may become obsolete. And some reviews are just more useful than others. Reviews from non purchasers can be ruled out, for example, but even some of those that remain may be misleading or less informative. Moderation can eliminate misleading reviews on the basis of their content, not just because of who wrote them or when they were written. Content moderation comes in three flavors: employee, community, and algorithm. Employee moderators, often called community managers, can spend their days actively using the service, interacting online with other users, removing inappropriate content, and providing feedback to management. This option is the most costly, but it can help you quickly understand what's working and what's not, and ensure that someone is managing what appears on the site at all times. Community moderation allows all users to help spot and flag poor content, from artificially inflated reviews to spam and other kinds of abuse. Yelp has a simple icon that users can post to submit concerns about a review that harasses another reviewer or appears to be about some other business. Amazon asks users whether each review is helpful or unhelpful and employs that data to choose which reviews are displayed first and to suppress particularly unhelpful ones. Often, only a small fraction of users will flag the quality of content. However, so a critical mass of engaged users is needed to make community flagging systems work. The third approach to moderating content relies on algorithms. Yelp's recommendation software processes dozens of factors about each review daily and varies the reviews that are more prominently displayed as recommended. In 2014, the company said that fewer than 75% of written reviews were recommended at any given time. Amazon, Google, and TripAdvisor have implemented review quality algorithms that remove offering content from their platforms. Algorithms can be, of course, go beyond a binary classification and instead assess how much weight to place on each rating. Mike has written a paper with Daisy Dai, Ginger Chen, and Jungmin Lee that explores the rating aggregation problem, highlighting how assigning weights to each rating can help overcome challenges in the underlying review process. Putting it all together, the experiences of others have always been an important source of information about product quality. The American Academy of Family Physicians, for example, suggests that people turn to friends and family to learn about physicians and get recommendations. Review platforms have accelerated and systematized this process, making it easier to tap into the wisdom of the crowd. Online reviews have been useful to customers, platforms, and policymakers alike. We have used Yelp data, for example, to look at issues ranging from understanding how neighborhoods change during periods of gentrification to estimating the impact of minimum wage hikes on business outcomes. But for reviews to be helpful to consumers, to sellers, and to the broader public, the people managing review systems must think carefully about the design choices they make and how to most accurately reflect users' experience. Well, thanks for your contribution, Geoff, Yunjin, and Michael. Yeah, it's a fascinating read. I mean, to be completely honest, there were moments when I was like tuned out, but I believe I got the overall picture. Um, but that I'm still kind of curious about star rating system. Yeah, instead of doing star reviewing system, star classifications. Okay. Star classification is a type of rating scale utilizing a star glyph or similar typographical symbol. It is used by reviewers for ranking things such as films, TV shows, restaurants, and hotels. For example, a system of 1 to 5 stars is commonly used in hotel ratings, with 5 stars being the highest rating. Repeated symbols used for a ranking date to Mariana Stark's 1820 guidebook, which used exclamation points to indicate words of art of special value. Okay, the text goes something like this. I have endeavored to furnish travelers with correct list of the objects best worth notice. At the same time, make at the same time marking with one or more exclamation points according to their merit those works which are deemed peculiarly excellent. Okay, who was Mariana Stark? I would say an educator, an author. Mariana Stark was an English author. She is best known for her travel guide to France and Italy, which served as a popular companion for British travelers to the continent in the early 19th century. Nice. So, okay, examples of rating scales. Mm, just kind of curious if there's like some sort of like a general rule of thumb. Common sense media empire. Hmm. All right, that's that's. I'm gonna dive into that some other time. Yeah, this movie was something. I gotta watch this one. Uh, or maybe I'm gonna skip it. I don't know. Like last time I was on IMDb, I was reviewing this movie, Strange World. That seems interesting. Oh, 5.5. Come on, Disney. Amsterdam. This movie is based on Einstein, is it? No. Set in the 1930s, three friends who witness a murder become suspect themselves in what becomes one of the most outrageous plots in American history. Yeah, let's see. Nope. I mean, uh, to be honest, the premise was a little confusing. Okay, so, dude, save your money. It was painfully boring. The joy I got from having to sit through a film that seemed like it was compromised of all the clippings from the cutting room floor was only complete because my husband and I could laugh about our shared agony. It felt like this film tried to be a Tarantino but ended up the baby of an Mr. M. Night Shyamalan and a creature feature about a giant flying tampon. uh, Close Encounters of the Third King. In 2015, my son insisted we watch Brendan Fraser's comedy Furry Vengeance. I forgave him. Eventually, today, he suggested we go see Nope. It's going to be a long time before I'm able to let this one go. Directed by Jordan Peele, Nope is without a doubt the worst film I have ever seen at the cinema in almost 50 years of moviegoing, and quite possibly the most tedious movie I have seen, period. The plot is disjointed and repetitive, with many scenes making very little sense. The pacing is incredibly slow, and the characters are hugely irritating. Keke Palmer and Michael Wincott were awful, and Steven Yeun and Brandon Pera weren't much better. I have no idea what Peel was aiming for. I don't understand the relevance of the killer chimpanzee and the floating shoe, or how 50 sky dancers, those inflatable figures on car room show forecourts that gyrate in the wind, can be purchased and installed in a matter of hours. I fail to see how a massive flying extraterrestrial that feeds on people can go unnoticed for so long. Why did OJ and Emerald speak like they were from an inner city ghetto when they were born and raised in the country? Would Emerald really be into the Jesus lizard? And who was that person on the motorcycle and why was his helmet so strange? Knowing Peel, there is undoubtedly hidden meaning and symbolism in the film. But I don't go to the cinema to be bored out of my skull for well over 2 hours and then have to research what it was all about afterwards. I want to be entertained, and I most definitely wasn't. I'd rather watch a double bill of Cats and Birds of Prey than watch Nope again. Dog on Dog on Lion. Dog on Lion says, "Too bad. I know Jordan Peele wants to write, direct, and produce his own movies and appear like a genius, but the writing is horrible here. If he keeps doing this, he will end up like Spike Lee, making long movies with lame dialogues that go nowhere. Some of it is just so over the top and some too unrealistic. Like the guy they bought the security system from. He was the only cashier in the store and ends up taking a van to do the install at the ranch himself. Then he shows pictures of his girlfriend and talks about his life to the customer. Oh, and the same guy also remotely monitors the cameras. What? Kiki Palmer overacts every scene she's in. It was annoying. Daniel Kaluuya has this look on his face like he smells somebody's farts all the time. Oh, and there is zero siblings chemistry between the two of them, and they do not look like siblings, not even by 1,000 miles. The acting in this movie is really bad, even Steven Yeun, and even the blood looks fake. The attempts at creating tension fail. The attempts at providing humor fail. I was a big fan of Get Out and Us, but Jordan Peele needs to take a break and think about this movie making. Boring waste of time. Really a pain to watch. Genuinely one of the worst films ever made. First time I ever walked out of theaters. The real Bamo says literally people were walking around and on the phone in the theaters. This movie was all over the place. 1 minute it's about UFOs, then monkey, then horses. Worst movie I ever seen, and I'm the one who picked this movie for me and my girls to see. I had to apologize 100 times. Say nope to this movie. I don't know if this is what's scary to new generation, but it is not even a psychological thriller or scary at all. 3 hours of boring movie of people trying to take a picture of an UFO. If this is what scares people nowadays, well, then go enjoy. Now I'm kind of curious. Like this movie is so terrible that I bet whoever gave 10 stars, they must have like a different worldview. Uh, okay, original quality spectacle. Mason Soul says, "Nope accomplishes something truly rare and special in the current filmmaking landscape. An original blockbuster that delivers truly our awe-inspiring spectacle while also exploring plenty of weighty themes below the already impressive surface." hmm Daniel Kaluuya and KK Palmer are a perfect match. Palmer's boundless energy and charm smartly contrasted by Kaluuya's more reserved presence and combine their family dynamic feels as real as possible. Brandon Perry and Michael Wincott are great additions who add some really solid dry wit. Jordan Peele's direction is incredible. He's in full control of the increased scale and with cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytema utilizes the IMAX format to its best. The deliberately methodolic, method, methodical deliberately methodical camera work helps to make the spectacle feel grand and comprehensible. As a thriller, the film delivers plenty of moments of genuine fear with nail biting tension. The music by Michael Abel is amazing. It doesn't sound like the average sci fi film and instead has a more awe inspiring and epic feel that has some real champion moment. Wow, like this is like such an opposite review. An incredibly unique masterpiece. Okay. Something that has never been done before. A story that has never been told. With classic Peel flair, this film perfectly wove together multiple stories and ideas with blinding symbolism. Absolutely beautifully shot. One of the best movies I have ever seen. Things I loved about this movie. Spoilers. The underlying story of a black family training horses for Hollywood for generations in what I assume is a white dominated field. This raised the stakes, created character development, and told a uniquely heartwarming story we haven't heard before. Once again, Peel beautifully underpins a black story within a unique horror space. Point number two, themes. So many themes, perfectly mirrored and interlaced throughout the film. The theme of Hollywood and spectacle. A cautionary tale not to lose yourself and sacrifice everything for the perfect shot or fame. A theme we see with so many characters in this film: Jupe, Emerald, Holmes, and the TMZ motorcyclist. A cautionary tale about man's hubristic relationships with powerful creatures, horses, chimps, aliens, etc. We see characters taking advantage of these creatures and exercising supremacy, all for the spectacle, and all to their demise, except OJ, whose compassion and familial relationship with his horses allows him to triumph. Point number three, the terrifying horror scenes. The Cody Show massacre and the Jupe Ranch spectators dying screaming while being devoured by the creature will haunt me forever. Point number four, the humor that cut the tension without taking away from the horror. Point five, Peele's flair for inserting a real life event into the fictional world, blurring the lines of reality. Chala Nash was mauled by a pet chimp in 2009. She appeared on Opera, who's mentioned a few times in the movie, wearing almost the same outfit as Mary Jo at the Jupe Ranch. Point 6. The amazing cinematography and tension building. The scenes are powerful horses running through the sprawling wild country. The kitschy Jupe Park that created foreboding. The shots of the power surges and tube men falling to the ground, to the goad. And of course, the creature, a biblical and truly terrifying monster. Point 7. The witty title. This film says so much you won't catch it all while you're watching it. It will seep into you slowly and you will realize, after proper reflection, it is a masterpiece. Wow. Uh, kind of shows me like how people are like, I mean, everyone have their own system with which they kind of gauge things, I guess, but uh, seriously, there are uh, there are people who have like entirely opposite worldview. Okay, what else should we check out? I want to do like one last one. Uh, when is this coming? Moon Man. Wow, top 10 Maverick is Maverick collected what, like over $1 billion? Wow. Wow. Kind of curious, like the most um, how would you say? I want to see like in the history of the cinema, like which movie collected the most money, most collection. Let's see. Maybe highest is the right way. Let's see. Okay, top lifetime grosses. So these are the amount of money movie have accumulated so far, and I'm sure like it's still growing because of royalties and whatnot. So the top 10 are Avatar with almost 3 billion, Avengers Endgame with 2.7 billion, Titanic with 2.2 billion, Star Wars Episode 6 2 billion, Avengers Infinity War 2 billion, Spider-Man No Way Home 1.9 billion, Jurassic World 1.6, Lion King 1.6, The Avengers 1.5, Furious 7 1.5. What? Top Gun Maverick 1.4, Frozen 2 1.4, Avengers Age of Ultron 1.4, Avatar The Way of Water 1.4 already. Black Panther 1.3, Harry Potter Part 2, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 1.3. Damn. It's like the the lowest is probably okay, $500,000. No, it's just $500,000. What am I, an idiot? $500 million. Oh, no wonder. No wonder there's so much money in Hollywood, in entertainment industry in general. But I kind of wonder which industry has the most amount of money. It could be, I mean, entertainment, could be sports, could be, obviously, we're not talking about business, but uh, music could have like a lot of money too. Yeah, it's there are opportunities everywhere, but opportunities are like bubbles, it those opportunities are there for a little while, and then eventually it bursts. So you have to find the right timing to hold that bubble, I guess. All right, this was fun. I don't know. Uh, I don't know if I want to do IMDb again. I'm gonna sit on it and maybe see if you can replace it with some other platform. So if you have any suggestion, drop me a comment. But until Wednesday, peace out.